Good evening and welcome to our RSEQ men's volleyball action. I'm Ilya Kurbanov, live from Dalplex for this evening's match featuring the UNB Reds and your Dalhousie Tigers. Two teams that know each other far too well, even from the AUS days. The two remaining teams who have transferred to the RSEQ conference a couple of years back face each other for the third time this season. The previous two matches have gone the way of the Tigers, as they currently sit with 2 wins and 10 losses, while the UNB Reds are still looking for their first win of the year. Winless, sitting at 0-12. The Tigers will start with the ball with Donovan on the service line. He'll get it dug up by Boudreau. Now Donovan fighting to get it back. And Owen Tran now making a dive over the advertisement boards. But the ball's flying out and out of bounds. Number 12 now, Nathan Marshall, serving for the Reds as they will take that first point of the game. Donovan, Dowling. Sets up De Jong. He will get a kill for the Tigers. And it's a quick turnaround. Sartar Sidhu will serve now for the Tigers. Gets it over. That is dug up by Hilario. Now number 10 trying to get on the attack, Emil Pedersen, but that is blocked by Donovan. De Jong was out there as well. Sidhu. Oliveira now on the attack. That is rejected, but outside. And the point will go to the Tigers as Cross's block goes right out. And Rafael Hilario, who is all the way from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, will serve now for the Reds. Gets it over. Now Tran with a dig. Dowling sets up. That would be Michael Donovan. No, that's Condon Aldrich for the kill down the middle. De Jong now to serve for the Tigers. Gets it right over. Now on the attack, number 17 for the Reds. No, Boudreau, who gets the kill. Seamus Cormier for the Reds. That dug up by De Jong. Now Condon Aldrich again down the middle. Quentin Dowling with a perfect setup. Justin Cross now will serve. Cross dug out by Hilario. Now the set went right over the extension from Marshall as he was trying to find Peterson on the right side. Cross gets it through, dug out by Hilario. Now this time Peterson is there. Dowling. That's Cross. Donovan forces it over. Mann. Then Marshall again. Dowling makes a dive. Donovan. Hilario. Marshall sets up Boudreau. That's dug up by Cross in the back. Donovan now goes through the blockers. And that goes out of bounds as the Reds, Travis Prim, unable to get it through. Tigers with an early start and a hot start. 6-3 so far in their favor in this first set. Cross again. Gets it right over. Boudreau will be there. Marshall now for Boudreau. This time is blocked. Quentin Dowling demonstrating the athleticism. And a quick timeout here by Coach McMurrin as the Tigers are off to a hot start. And we're back after the timeout. Cross yet again on that service line. Gets it right over. Hilario will dig it out. Marshall now sets up Boudreau. That one is blocked again by Dowling. Back-to-back blocks. Not from the one that you'd expect. The setter standing right next to Condon Aldriv is certainly impressing everyone here. Marshall setting up Prum there on the attack. Now Donovan dug up by Boudreau. Dowling again to Donovan. He goes for a tip. And looks like there's a line violation on the red side. And point will go the way of Tigers. Now Cross gets it right over. Hilario will be there. Marshall now to Peterson. That is blocked by Donovan. Marshall again. Tipped by Boudreau. Dowling. Cross off the tip. On the block there. Number 6, Prum. And another timeout by the Reds. The hot start continues. 10-3, the lead extends. Cross remains in the spot for the Tigers. Gets it over. Boudreau will dig it out. Now Hilario on the attack. Tran. Donovan will tip it over. Marshall now to Boudreau again. Cross is there. Dowling to Donovan. Donovan tips it over. 2 blockers, but that's blocked. Now Dowling again to Donovan. This time cross court. Marshall to Hilario. That goes through 3 blockers. The Tigers remain with the rally. That ball goes out on the attack from Donovan, but what a rally there by both squads. The UNB finally cut the streak of Cross being at that line. Now Emil Peterson gets it right through Tran on a dig. Donovan pushes it back to the net. Cross is there. Marshall now sets up. Now Cross forces it over. Marshall to Boudreau on the second touch. Now this one is blocked at the net. Hilario. Boudreau's forced to go over, but 2 blockers are there. Now Peterson this time around, side and out. The Tigers substitution coming in. Sidhu checks in for Tran. And Derek Ejeckum comes in right back for Sidhu. Condon Aldriv on the line. Gets it over. Hilario on the dig. Marshall now goes to Boudreau. Cross. Dowling now to De Jong. De Jong on the attack. Marshall again. Boudreau goes over. Dowling. Perfect setup for Donovan, but that goes into the antenna and to UNB. Boudreau gets it right over. Now Dowling. Donovan on the attack, saved by Mann. Now Marshall is trying to tip it over. Dowling, Derek Ejekam using the blockers, cross. Donovan gets it over somehow, and 4 touches against UNB. It almost looked from this angle that Donovan went straight into the net with that attack, but slight right between the blockers and the nets and gets it through for a point as the Reds struggle to get it up and get the attack going on the rally. Dowling now will serve, the fourth year senior from Waterloo, Ontario. Gets it over, Mann. Marshall now. Hilario is blocked by DeYoung. Marshall again. Hilario through 3 blockers. And Donovan now pushes it right over. Marshall to Peterson. DeYoung is there. Dowling now again to Donovan. Donovan using the blockers and gets the point on the attack. Impressive start by the Tigers. 8-point lead right off the gate. 13-5 so far here in Dalplex, the home of the Dalhousie Tigers. Mann, Marshall to Hilario. He goes over the blockers. Dowling to Donovan. And that goes in. Boudreau manages to keep it alive. Tran to Dowling and Donovan. My goodness, have mercy. He gets it through with the power and authority for a kill. Donovan. Man is there. Hilario now using the attack, going over the blockers. DeYoung forces it over. Marshall now has the opportunity, sets it to Hilario, and this time 2 blockers, and Hilario makes the Tigers pay. Now Cormier checks in for Mann. And Travis Priam gets it over. Now this time DeYoung uses his power on that attack. Mann checks back in for Priam. Michael Donovan. Beautiful serve from Donovan, but Seamus Cormier goes right at Donovan to get that kill and the point. Marshall. Dug out by Donovan. DeYoung over the blockers. Marshall now sets up Hilario, this time blocked by DeYoung. And Ejekam using his advantage in the middle. And miscommunication error there by Cross and the rest. As he was keeping that rally alive, but into no avail. Marshall staying on that service line, and there's some communication, or looks like there's an injury timeout perhaps. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, DeYoung looked like he slipped and they wanted to make sure he was okay. And Marshall is still at the line. This time gets to serve. Donovan will be digging that one out. Dowling sets up cross going into Marshall. Now Tran. Dowling down the middle, and Donovan will just tip it over. Edgecombe now. Marshall sets up Hilario. 2 blockers, using the blockers. Ball goes out of bounds, and the point goes to the Reds. Sidhu checks in for Derek Edgecombe. Marshall, Donovan is there. Dowling now for DeYoung, going through the blockers. No, actually not going through the blockers. The blockers make that difficult one for DeYoung and rejecting him at the net. Marshall, Tran with a dig. Dowling sets up cross. Cross going cross court in the back and gets the point. Gets the kill. Has the angle and the empty corner. Condon Oldriff checks in for Owen Tran. Surtash Sidhu to serve. Gets it right over. Hilario is there on the dig. Now Cormier tries to go through, but Condon Oldriff on the substitution immediately rejecting that one. Sidhu. Hilario's there now. Marshall sets up Sidhu a little too close to the antenna. Now Cross gets it over. Man, Hilario blocked by the pair. Cross and Condon Oldriff playing defense. Not a lot of things will go through Condon Oldriff, I'll tell you. The 6'8" first-year middle is showing himself and making his presence felt. 19-10, the scoreline in the first set. Sartash Sidhu continues his streak on the line. Man checks in for Peterson for the Reds. Sidhu gets it right over. Man is there. Marshall now sets up Hilario, and he will go at Dowling to get that kill with the power spike on the attack. And Hilario, the Brazilian, gets it right over. Tran is there now. Dowling sets up Cross. That's looks like he got blocked by number 6, Travis Prim. The second year of Osler, Saskatchewan. Now Hilario still at the line. Gets it right over. Tran with a dig. Dowling now sets up Cross, but this one's side and out of bounds. Hilario. Gets it through. Tran on the dig. Dowling this time in the middle to Condon Oldriff. Dug up by Marshall. Boudreau forces it over. Now Dowling again to Oldriff, using the blocker and off the blocker and in. Seamus Cormier not in time to get to that one. And the ball just tips off and over his hands. Now DeYoung, second year from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Gets it over. Hilario on the dig. Now number 8 on the attack, Jacob Harris, but he's rejected by Condon Oldriff. DeYoung back at the line. Gets it over. Man is there on the dig. Cormier. Now, and the dig from number 8, Harris, goes into the board. over the referee, and Peterson will check in right back for Harris. De Jong, Hilario is there to get it going. Boudreau now off the setup from Marshall. De Jong, Dowling tips it over on the third. Marshall to Boudreau, this time blocked by Dowling again. And that makes it 10-point deficit against the Reds, 23-10 for your Dalhousie Tigers. De Jong again at the line. This time around, unfortunate with the net and the service error. Cormier checks out. Hayburn checks in, the fourth year from Lethbridge, Alberta. Donovan there on the dig. Now cross blocked by Peterson. Nathaniel Hayburn back at the line. Gets it over. Donovan is there with the dig. De Jong now can't get through the blockers. Boudreau and Prume are there for the rejection. Hayburn again. Dowling, to De Jong, and this one goes out of bounds. And slowly but surely, the Reds are chipping in, and Coach Oda is forced to call that timeout. And at this time, Dalhousie University's Department of Athletics would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support: 101.3 Virgin Radio, Tony's Famous Pizza, and Dalhousie Food Services. And by the way, if you want more Tigers action, the Tigers will take on the Reds in their second match of the weekend tomorrow at 4 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time. Hayburn back at the service line. Gets it right over. Donovan is there. Dowling now to Condon Oldriff down the middle. Peterson goes through the blockers, but the Tigers are still there. Cross gets blocked by Pruim with the help of Peterson. And the Reds are shrinking the Tigers' 10-point lead now to 5. They have a momentum going their way. Donovan, cross, tips it over this time. Hilario sets up Boudreau. Boudreau gets blocked. Boudreau again, then blocked again. Now Condon Oldriven, looks like a net violation will be going against the Tigers. But the defense by both squads there, exchanging blocks at the net. Donovan's trying to talk and figure out what happened. Then Dan Oda again with a second timeout back-to-back, giving up 3 straight points, and the Reds cut it down to 4. Hayburn again. Looks like he lives at the line so far. Continuing that streak for the Reds and keeping that momentum. Dowling sets up the young, goes over. Peterson is there. Boudreau now. Off Condon Oldriv. Donovan sets up cross. Cross tips over the blockers. But a point goes the way of Tigers. Finally, they're able to break that streak from the Reds. We have a packed house here at Dalplex. And set point for the Tigers as they look to close this one out after giving up 6 straight points. Marshall goes to Prum, and this one goes side and out. The Reds are back with the ball at the line is Peterson. Peterson. Donovan is there. Dowling sets up Donovan, and Donovan makes it work. Tran to Dowling, and Donovan does what Donovan does best. Gets the kill, the set point, 25-10, and Dalhousie take the first one. We'll be right back after a short break.
Hi, my name is Braden Gray. I'm a student here at Dow in my 3rd year of recreational management, and I'm also a member of the Dow track team as a middle distance runner. So my heritage on my mom's side is a little bit more indigenous, and on my dad's side it's quite black and Acadian. So there's quite a few mixes of races within our family, so I'm pretty biracial as an individual. What I'm proud of about my heritage is coming from so many cultures and being a biracial kid myself, seeing the different perspectives within my family, from my relatives and grandparents, etc., etc. Just seeing the different perspectives in our country, I think it's really interesting to see the different cultures and how people interact with each other.
And welcome back to this RSEQ's men's volleyball action between the UNB Reds and the Dalhousie Tigers. The Tigers took the first set with a score of 25-20. After leading confidently 23-13, they ended up giving up unanswered 6 points, forcing Coach Oda called back-to-back timeouts at one point, but they finally managed to close the first set and take a confident lead. But now here we go on the way on the second, and looks like De Jong got the point on the attack, getting that kill off the blockers and out of bounds for the first point of the second set. In this RSEQ matchup, the two teams know each other far too well. The only wins that the Tigers have had this season have come against this Reds squad. Marshall sets up Peterson. Peterson tips it over to blockers, and a violation called against the Reds by the officials. Donovan is still at the line for the second time to serve again. Donovan gets it right over. Marshall now through Hilario. He gets blocked. The Reds stay alive. Hilario still there. Donovan now sets up cross. He goes over to three blockers and gets the kill. Beautiful read and great adjustment by Cross, who's been blocked in the same fashion, in the same kind of situation in the first set, getting the kill. Now tipping it right over, making the right read. Donovan now. And out of bounds on the serve. Hilario. Gets it through. Donovan on a dig. Dowling goes to Cross, and Cross this time blocked by Cormier and Peterson. Excuse me, that would have been Harris and Cormier. Now Hilario. Goes over. Donovan is there. Dowling sets up De Jong. He goes off the blockers. Saved by Mann. Now two touch. Looks like cold against Marshall as he was trying to set up Boudreau on the right side. Now Condon Oldriff checks in for Owen Tran. And Sartar Sidhu on the serve. Boudreau into the net from the set of Marshall. Was trying to get that kill, but slightly too low. Sidhu. Gets it over. That's dug out by Boudreau. Marshall now to Boudreau, who's forced to go over. Condon Oldriff. Dowling keeps it alive somehow. Marshall to Boudreau. That's off the blockers. Donovan is in the back. Dowling goes to Condon Oldriff. He'll set up De Jong. Goes through the blockers. Marshall's this time to Hilario. That goes out. But a beautiful rally between two squads as the Tigers end up getting that point in the end. Sidhu. Hilario. Marshall now going down the middle to Seamus Cormier, who will use the body of Dowling to get that kill. Cormier. Dowling. And this one off the net and out of bounds off Justin Cross's attack. Peterson. Oh, excuse me, Cormier. Goes over. De Jong is there. Dowling now. Looks like there's a carry on the play against Dowling as he's trying to set up Condon Oldriff in the middle for an easy one. Cormier crosses there. Dowling. This time Colton Aldriv off the blockers. Hilario now setting up Harris, who would use the blockers and get the kill. 6-6 so far in his first set. Cormier out of bounds on the serve, and point goes Tigers. Now Josh DeYoung. Gets it over. Hilario is there on the dig. Marshall sets up Harris, but he goes out of bounds. Tigers remain with the ball. DeYoung, Boudreau, Marshall to Prim. Now cross. That one was slightly higher than expected, and Harris took advantage of the floating ball and just punched it in for a point to the Reds. Jacob Harris, second year of Clarenville, Newfoundland. Clarenville, excuse me. Donovan on the dig. Dowling now. Goes to DeYoung, but a little too off to target. Boudreau gets blocked by Condon Aldriv again. Cross. Boudreau on a dig. Now Dowling sets up Donovan. He'll go off the blockers and he'll get the point for the Tigers. A beautiful dig by DeYoung to set that play up. Cross. Hilario. Now Marshall going down the middle for Priam. Boudreau will serve. Goes out. Perfectly read by the Tigers. Well communicated, and the gamble well paid off. Condon Aldriv now. Goes over. Man is there. Marshall now to Hilario. Three blockers sent his way. Cross diving to dig that one out. Dowling sets up Donovan. Dowling again to Donovan. This time around, Donovan makes it pay. But Justin Cross making the ultimate sacrifice, diving, almost hitting the chair of the Tigers bench, but to earn a well-deserved point. And Condon Aldriv back at that serve line. Been very impactful today. Man is there on a dig now. Hilario on the attack. That's dug out by DeYoung. Saved by Dowling. A little too high up. Now, Prim goes over. Tran is there, but Dowling now a little off target for Donovan. And Hilario doesn't waste any time to go for that one. Marshall again to Hilario. This time 2 blockers there. Tran is there for the dig as well. Donovan, this time over the blockers. Hilario to Harris. There's cross. Now Dowling sets up DeYoung. It's still alive. Somehow goes over. Donovan to Dowling and Sidhu. And looks like this one goes off. Looks like it just goes out of bounds. But what is saved by the Reds, keeping that rally alive to earn that 10th point of the second set. Tran. Now DeYoung. Marshall will set up Hilario. He'll tip it over, but that is blocked by Donovan. Now, Quentin Dowling serving for the Tigers. Gets it over. Hilario is there. Marshall sets up Hilario. That one is rejected by Sidhu. Hilario now the third touch. Harris is forced to get it over. Donovan, my goodness, the power, the spike, the accuracy, and the kill. Donovan for his 6th kill on the game, averaging 3.5 kills per set, which is 16th in the nation this year. And Cross had to tie his laces. Donovan had the opportunity to just reset. The importance of the routine. You have a routine, you don't want to mess it up, you want to go back and just reset it. But doesn't work this time for Dowling, unfortunately. Now Marshall will serve. Gets it through. Tran is there for the dig. Dowling sets up Sidhu. And that was perfectly in from this angle, but the referee says no. And a lot of confusion on the Tigers side, because even from here it looked all in. Marshall. Dowling just looking for a tip, and this time looks like, to me in basketball would like to call it, the referee makes a mistake and he makes it up on the other end, just to it's like a makeup call. Perhaps that's what just happened here before our eyes. The referee recognizes he might have made a mistake on a previous play and just gives that one to the Tigers. Donovan serving and into the net. Both teams exchanging errors back to back to back. And it's 15-13 so far. Midpoint of the second. Hilario. Serve goes right up and over. Condon Aldriv checks in for Owen Tran, and Derek Ejechem will serve now for the Tigers. Gets it right over. Man is there. Marshall now goes for Harris. Donovan is there, but not quite. And point will be awarded to the Reds. Ejekum will check out right back for Owen Tran. And this time Peterson, no, excuse me, that's Cormier at the serve line for the Reds. Donovan's there for the dig. And a two-touch called against Dowling. 16-15. Cormier back at the line. Gets it over. Donovan is there with the dig. Dowling. Condon Aldriff. My goodness. The 6'8", the length and the athleticism will give you nothing but the momentum to spike the ball as hard as you could possibly do down the middle with no chance to save it. Marshall goes to Boudreau. He gets blocked. Now cross defended by the Reds, and Donovan goes on the attack, but too much power. Now substitution coming in. Marshall is checking out for number 10, Peterson. Harris at the serve line. Gets it right over and out of bounds. And so far, not a lot of action. Teams just exchanging kind of errors. And certainly both want to make adjustments, but not working out for either. And a two-touch called, carry, excuse me. And Hilario is trying to negotiate and understand where the error is coming from. It looks like both the coach and the squad aren't really happy with that call. Cross. Hilario is there. Now Peterson sets up what looks to be Boudreau, and he'll use the blockers to get the point for the Reds. Boudreau goes over and out. Again, this is a third consecutive service error committed here by the Reds. Condon Aldriff. He gets it over. Now Hilario going into the body of Cross. Couldn't receive it, couldn't dig it out, and point goes the way of the Reds. Hilario, another player who's got the power and athleticism to get those kills and put the ball right through you. Cross. Dowling sets up De Jong. Now Donovan sees the floating ball and makes the Reds pay. Donovan takes advantage and takes care of business on that one. Dowling, and looks like timeout called by the Reds. At this time, Dalhousie University's Department of Athletics would like to thank the following sponsors for their generous support: Under Armour, PepsiCo Beverages, and Cleve's Source for Sports. The Tigers lead 21-18, second set, looking to close this one out. But it's been a back and forth. Both teams make mistakes. Both teams make good plays around net. And let's see who can figure it out and get the momentum on their side at the right time. But looks like right out of the timeout, Hilario will get the kill going cross-court from the right side to immediately get one of those points in their favor to look to climb their way back into this one. Although it's not a large deficit, but every point counts, and Marshall now at the line. Gets it over. Tran is there with the dig. Dowling sets up Edgecam, but this time going for Donovan. Hilario is there with the block, and now Hilario's there, but two blockers sent his way. Donovan and Edgecam, and Cross diving to dig it out, but not quite there. And back-to-back kills for Hilario as he continues being that power for the Reds, as now Oda forced to call the timeout as Rafael Hilario picks up the back-to-back ones. And the Reds managed to get those 2 points on the back-to-back kills from Hilario. Can they get something more out of it? Dowling setting up De Jong. That is blocked. Dowling again. Now Cross will set up De Jong. This time blocked. Prum and Cormier are both there for that one and punching it down. Tying it at 21 apiece. Marshall. Cross is there. Dowling will go to Cross, and looks like a carry is called against Dowling on the set. The official pointing arm, like as if Dowling was pushing the ball forward and not floating it up. Now Edgecam rejected by Cormier. What a momentum shifter here at Dowplex, on another timeout called by Coach Oda. Certainly unimpressed by the play of his Tigers. Can the Tigers bounce back? We shall see. The Tigers trailing now 2 after leading by 3. Tran, Donovan floats it up for De Jong. He'll tip it over, but does not get right through. Donovan is now rejected. Hilario making it happen on both ends. Get the kills and get the blocks, and the Tigers are struggling to find their way back into this set. Giving up 5 straight and a set point now for the Reds. And a mistake. Looks like it was in. Not sure exactly whether there was a touch, but Tigers get the point. Donovan gets it right over. Marshall sets up Hilario, who's been red hot this set, and he stays hot. 25-22. The Reds take the second one, and we're tied at 1 apiece.
Hi, my name is Braden Gray. I'm a student here at Dow in my 3rd year of recreational management, and I'm also a member of the Dow track team as a middle distance runner. So my heritage on my mom's side is a little bit more indigenous, and on my dad's side it's quite black and Acadian. So there's quite a few mixes of races within our family, so I'm pretty biracial as an individual. What I'm proud of about my heritage is coming from so many cultures and being a biracial kid myself, seeing the different perspectives within my family, from my relatives and grandparents, etc., etc. Just seeing the different perspectives in our country, I think it's really interesting to see the different cultures and how people interact with each other.
And welcome back to the RSEQ's men's volleyball action here at Dowplex in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I'm Ilya Kurbanov presenting you the action featuring the visiting UNB Reds and your Dow Tigers. The Reds are feeling the momentum on their side, getting 4 straight points in last 5 rallies. And feeling confident going into the third one here, taking the second set 25-22 after giving up the first one 25-20. Marshall now to serve, gets it through. Donovan on a dig. Dowling goes to Condon Oldriv. Dowling this time to De Jong. And this one off the hands of the blockers, and the point will go to the Tigers. Hilario talking to the referee. And not sure what the conversation was about. It's hard to understand, but De Jong, man is there. Marshall sets up Harris. That is blocked. The Reds continue. Hilario now blocked by 2. Marshall again, this time to Harris, and this time blocked by Dowling. Marshall forces it over on a third touch. Dowling going to cross De Jong. He's forcing it over on a third. Now Cormier is blocked. Tigers keeping it alive. Cross through 3 blockers. The rally continues. Man, third touch forces it over, and it's into the net. Tigers get the point. A long rally rewards the Tigers with the point. De Jong. Hilario is there on the dig. Marshall setting up Harris, and that one goes a little too far and out. De Jong again. Gets it right over. Hilario. Marshall back to Hilario, who's been hot, but this time Condon Oldriff with the rejection. Back to where he is the best for the Tigers. Condon Oldriff with 4 blocks, make it 5th one on the last rally. Cross again makes things alive. Marshall back to Hilario. That one goes off cross and out of bounds. Hilario serving has been the force to reckon with for the Reds. Beautiful dig by Cross. Dowling back to Cross. Cross, that is dug out by Hilario, but that just goes over and out for the point to Tigers. Hilario, who's had 10 kills so far this game. Cross, dug out by Hilario. Marshall now finds Boudreau. That's dug out by Cross. Dowling finds Donovan, but into Marshall and out. Another point goes the way of Tigers. Can the Tigers continue the momentum that they lost in the second set? Hilario, Marshall, Boudreau now off the blockers. The ball is live, and looks like Dowling was trying to communicate it with Cross late on the dive to keep it alive. Cormier. Gets it through. Donovan on a dig. Dowling now catches Cormier off guard and tips it right over for a kill. Condon Oldriff. Right into the net. And this time Jacob Harris will be serving for the Reds. Harris into the net as both teams exchanging favors. Back-to-back service errors between the two teams. Now Quentin Dowling. Goes over, man is there. Marshall now sets up Boudreau off the blockers. Hilario setting up Boudreau again. Cross is there, diving. But you can see the Tigers in disappointment as the miscommunication errors start to slowly pile up again. Boudreau, strong serve but out of bounds. Donovan, beautiful serve and carry called against the Reds. Hard to dig that one out for man. Donovan back at the line. This time, out is called, but that certainly looked in. Now Travis Prim gets it over. Tran is there, and Cross with the kill off Dowling setup. 11-6. Tigers lead so far despite a few mistakes made. Sartash Sidhu. Boudreau is there. Marshall now setting up Cormier on the attack. He'll get the kill. Flying right into the body of Sidhu. Tran checks back in for Sidhu. And Marshall will be serving at the line. Goes right over. Tran is there. Dowling now sets up. Oldriff using the blockers, getting that kill. Man, Marshall trying to set up Cormier to get it over. Tran is there now. Off the net goes Donovan. Harris, that's dug out by Justin Cross. Tran forces it over on the third. Marshall setting up Hilario. He will get the kill yet again. That will go side and out of DeYoung. Hilario now on the serve, and that goes far and out. 13-8, the score line, as you could see. Both teams exchanging points so far. Cross on the serve, Hilario's there. Now Cormier tipping it over. Tigers keeping it alive. Donovan off the blockers. Dowling to Donovan again. That is blocked. This one is out. This Cross tries to dig the block out and doesn't get the right angle. Cormier. Gets it right over. Cross is there. Now Donovan makes the Reds pay. Give Donovan the space and he'll make sure he finds those gaps. Condon Oldriff had a service error on the previous run. This time all in. Boudreau and Cross incapable of keeping it in. The ball flies high into the ceiling, and Peterson will check in for Marshall as Harris headed to the serve line for the Reds. And now Harris with an opportunity to shrink this lead a little more. Into the net. And 15-10. Quentin Dowling. Dowling gets it over. Dug up by Hilario. Boudreau now. Dowling will set up Donovan. He will get another kill. Donovan starting to feel himself a little bit here. Getting the hot hand. And a first timeout called by the Reds, and the Tigers lead 16-10. Dowling again. Now Peterson and Harris going far and out. And now Hayburn checks in for Harris. Dowling stays at the service line. Gets it over. That's dug up by the Reds. Now Hilario setting up Boudreau. That's blocked. And now off the blockers, Tran making a diving save on the play. Stays in. Dowling forcing the third over. Peterson to Boudreau. Cross on the tip, but looks like there's a net violation against the Tigers. But what a play there by Owen Tran to save that rally for the Tigers. Flying high and diving to the ground to save the play. Hilario talking to the official again, looking like there should have been a call made. He probably argues on the previous play before the net violation call. But Boudreau now got it over and out. The Reds continue to struggle on that service line. They've had 4 errors from the line so far in this second set. Donovan dug out by Mann. Now Boudreau into the net on the attack, and point goes to the Tigers as Tigers continue to use this momentum in their favor as they want to close this set out and force and put it into the fourth one, having the lead 2-1, but This Red squad will not give in that easy. They have done a tremendous job in that first set, clawing their way back in after being down 10, 23-13. They're down 8 at the moment. They were down 3 in the second set and ended up winning the set with a score of 25-22. So don't expect this Red squad go away easily, and the Tigers, they'll just have to use this advantage to take the set. Now Hilario off the blockers and gets another kill for the Reds and stopping that run by the Tigers. A man checks out. Prim checks in. Gets it right over on a serve. Dowling setting up cross. That is blocked, and now Tigers still with it. Dowling, cross will tip it over to blockers. Dowling again going down the middle. Donovan, who will set up cross, and now DeYoung will get called on a 2-touch or a carry. Carry. And Coach Oda expressing his frustration with the officiating. You could see that he's unhappy with that call. A lot of comment going to the officials this game, as both teams have talks with the officials, and I'm sure both Coach Oda and McMorrin will have certain conversations after this game, as Prim on the serve. Dowling will set up DeYoung. That will go over the blockers. Tran keeps it alive. Still in. Donovan to cross. That goes up and high and out of bounds, and the point will go to the Reds. Prim gets it over. Donovan is there, and yet again you could see that Tran was right behind him. He could have dug it. Donovan could have went to the middle, and now Coach Oda calls a timeout after 3 unanswered points. The Adopt a Tiger program supports the Tigers in their pursuit of excellence as they balance the demands of being a varsity student athlete. Funds raised help ensure that the student experience is as superb as their commitment to represent our university. Visit given.dal.ca to adopt a Tiger today. Pruitt back at that line. Getting it over. Tran is there with the dig. Dowling setting up cross. He'll go off the blockers and get the kill for the Tigers. The much needed kill to stop the momentum of the Reds. 2-touch called. And back-to-back points to regain the momentum. Tigers, Sartaj Sidhu. And McMorran now calls a timeout to talk things over. We'll be right over. Tigers. Sidhu back with the serve. Hayburn is there. Now Hilario goes way out and over. He was looking for a touch call, but looks like it was just a little too high and a little too strong on the attack. But Tigers now with a 7-point lead. Sidhu. Hayburn with the dig. Peterson. Cormier on the tip. Donovan. Setting up cross. That goes off the blockers. Peterson again to Hilario, but this is rejected by Condon Oldriff. The much-needed block for the Tigers to extend that momentum and fuel that team with energy. And the crowd that's been somewhat quieter than the first half of the doubleheader. Hayburn. Hilario will dig it back onto the field of play, and miscommunication on the attack from number 13, Adam James, to get the points and the serve back into the hands of the Reds. Marshall gets it over, crosses there. Dowling now setting up cross again. He'll tip it over. Beautiful read by Cross. Recognizing no blockers, empty gap. Tips it right over. Gets an easy one. De Jong with a set point in hand. James. Now Hilario forces it over on a third. Donovan is there. Now Condon Oldriff will seal the deal. 25-16. The Tigers take the second one. And a 2-1 lead moving into the fourth set here at Dalplex.
Hi, my name is Braden Gray. I'm a student here at Dow in my third year of recreational management, and I'm also a member of the Dow track team as a middle distance runner. So my heritage on my mom's side is a little bit more indigenous, and on my dad's side it's quite black and Acadian. So there's quite a few mixes of races within our family. So I'm pretty biracial as an individual. What I'm proud of about my heritage is coming from so many cultures and being a biracial kid myself, seeing the different perspectives within my family, from my relatives and grandparents, etc. Just seeing the different perspectives in our country, I think it's really interesting to see the different cultures and how people interact with each other.
And welcome back to the RSEQ's men's volleyball action between the Tigers and the UNB Reds here at Dowplex in Halifax, Nova Scotia. I'm Ilya Kurbanov. Today I'm by myself, and I'm doing my best giving you the play-by-play and color commentary. The Tigers so far have had the momentum in the first set in their favor, allowed the Reds to come back into the game, then let them have the second set. And in the third one, they confidently took over the momentum and took over the set, now leading 2-1 heading into the third. Dowling setting up Donovan, and a first kill down the middle for Donovan and the Tigers to get that point in the fourth set of this match. DeYoung. And that one's out of bounds by Cross. The ball was floating a little too strong, but not enough accuracy on the attack. Now Hilario, the fourth year from Rio de Janeiro. Gets it up and high. Donovan is there with the dig. Dowling sets up Cross. He will go up and out of bounds again on the back-to-back attacks. Dowling setting up Condon Aldriff, who's been active today. Both teams with 26 and 25 attack errors respectively. Cross, Marshall now setting up Hayburn, Donovan now with a tip over and a kill. Cross serves for the Tigers. Gets it over. Marshall to Hayburn. Hayburn is using the blockers. Gets the point off the hands of Condon Aldriff and DeYoung. Cormier serve for the Reds. Into the net. Serve errors piling up for the Reds. They got 12 on the game so far. 7 for the Tigers. Condon Oldrev now at the line. Hilario with the dig. Marshall now to Peterson. Peterson is blocked, and Dowling taking advantage of the floating ball to get that kill, making a perfect read at the right time. Condon Oldrev back to the serve, to serve for the Tigers, excuse me. Getting it over. Hilario is there. Marshall now setting up Hayburn. That is dug up by Cross and over the net. Marshall down the middle. Dowling trying to keep it alive as Sartar Sidhu was trying to get it through, but a line violation called against Dowling as he collapsed right under the net. Peterson. Cross is there. Dowling setting up Donovan. Donovan off the two-touch called against Dowling. Peterson got it over. Cross is there. Now Donovan forcing it over on the third touch. Hayburn tipping it right over. Dowling now setting up Donovan again into the body of Peterson. Peterson now. Tran dug it up. Dowling. Man. Peterson. Cross is there. Donovan setting up De Jong. De Jong is blocked. And what a rally. That swing by Donovan almost certainly looked like he was going to get the kill, but my goodness, Peterson with the hustle play. Peterson crosses there. Dowling setting up Donovan, and Donovan using his strength, punching that ball across the court. Donovan with his 15th kill of the evening. Dowling gets it over. Hayburn is there. Now Peterson goes over the blockers. Cross will set up Donovan. Donovan a little too strong on this one as the ball goes out of bounds. Point goes the way of the Reds. Oh. And off the touch, looks like the point will go to the Tigers. The officials will talk things through. It is fairly late to react. I don't know whether there was a touch or not, but the main official said yes, point Reds. The second official said point Tigers off a touch. Lots of confusion. Dowling way too low on the serve, and looks like the famous saying of ball doesn't lie remains alive for the Reds. Hayburn gets it over. Tran is there with the dig. Dowling setting up Sidhu. Down the middle now. Tran digging out that tip. De Jong off the blockers. Tran is there. Dowling going back to De Jong. This is utilizing the blockers and out. Getting the kill for the Tigers is De Jong. And Donovan will head now to serve for the Tigers. Donovan gets it through. Hilario's there with the dig. Marshall now setting up Hilario. He will use the blockers and get the kill. And looks like Cormier checked in for number 5, Scott Mann. And Pruitt will be serving Gets it right over. Tran is there with the dig. Dowling setting up Cross, and Cross will punch it in. A kill and a point going to the Tigers. Sidhu now will serve as Owen Tran checks out for Condon Aldriv. Sidhu gets it over. Hayburn with the dig. Now the ball is floating. De Jong takes advantage and punches it right below. In front of the net. Not giving the Reds a chance to recover. Sidhu again. And again. And I'm sure that there's a lot of discussions between the officials and the table, between the officials and the coaches. That could be certainly killing the momentum as well when you have it. That little pause that throws you off. We've seen it twice now with Quentin Dowling where the officials had to talk things over and his serve went not as planned. Now, Sidhu could potentially face the same thing, but these extended pauses certainly cool you down as players, physically and mentally, throw you off a little bit. And this is a perfect opportunity for both squads to kind of test their mental strength and see how much can they stay focused. We've seen on multiple occasions both teams kind of exchanging momentums in this game in all three sets where large leads were evaporated, and now Sidhu going over and getting the ace as Hayburn wasn't able to control that one. A little too high, was flying that ball and just right into his body. Sidhu getting it over this time. Marshall setting up Hilario. He'll use Condon Aldrif's hand and get the kill. Dowling was trying to save it, dove, but to no avail. Marshall now gets it into the net, and that's now 12 service errors committed by the Reds as Josh De Jong, the second year from Halifax, the local product, serving. Hilario with the dig, Hilario with the kill. And Hilario now to serve for the Reds. A close one in the fourth set here. And down the middle goes Marshall for Hilario, but the ball goes side and out for the fourth year senior of the Reds. Justin Cross, the second year from Winnipeg, Manitoba, serving. Marshall setting up Cormier down the middle. He'll get the kill. Now Cormier to serve for the Reds. Cormier gets it over, crosses there with the dig. Now Dowling setting up Condon Aldriv on the attack, and that's 4 touches against the Tigers as not enough power on that swing from Condon Aldriv, and the ball just falling right into the lap of Donovan where he couldn't do much with it. Cormier. Donovan off the blockers. Marshall setting up Peterson, and Peterson using his ability to tip that ball over Donovan's hands And Dan Oda rightfully calls the timeout as slowly the momentum is shifting the way of the Reds as the Tigers have now not answered the last 4 straight. Seamus Cormier to serve, gets it right over, crosses there with the dig, Dowling to De Jong. He punches it through and in. Getting the kill, De Jong. Now Condon Aldriv, Lucas Condon Aldriv, another young product of this Tiger squad. First year from Halifax, Nova Scotia. And a receiving error there by Hilario. Unable to control that ball on the dig, and Condon Aldriv will get a service ace. Condon Aldriv this time dug up by Hilario. Hayburn into the net. And the point will go to the Tigers with a 4-touch against the Reds. Condon Aldriv continuing that momentum that the Tigers need. Hilario. Marshall setting up Peterson. And this time around against and around Donovan. Off his hands and out to get that kill. Peterson will head to the serve line. Peterson gets it over. Donovan with the dig. Dowling now setting up De Jong. That goes off the blockers. Donovan setting up Sidhu down the middle, and Sidhu, no hesitation, but a spike down the middle. Dowling to serve. Dowling dug up by Hilario now. Cross with the dig. Dowling setting up Donovan from the back line. This time Hayburn off the blockers and out. The Tigers exchange points with the Reds. Hayburn to serve for the Reds. Gets it over Tran with a dig. Dowling now. De Jong will to go over on the third. Down the middle goes Peterson. Donovan over the blockers. Hayburn digs it out. Hilario now into the body of Dowling, and the kill goes the way of the Reds along with the point. 17-16 in the fourth. Hayburn again Gets it over. Tran with the dig. Dowling gets it to Donovan. Off the blockers and out. Donovan with the kill and headed to the serve line now. Donovan, Michael Donovan, the second year from London, Ontario. Gets it over. Now Peterson setting up Harris, but that is too late. And point goes to the Tigers. Donovan certainly has the athleticism and ability to put pressure from the serve line, as well as on the attack to get those kills. And as I speak, that ball flies out of bounds. Now Travis Prim for UNB gets it over. Owen Tran with the dig. Dowling sets up Sidhu. That's now forced by Hilario with the third touch. Dowling down the middle, but Donovan, unfortunate on the attack. Underestimated a little bit the timing of that one. Donovan, Dowling setting up De Jong. That's dug up by Habern. And that is out of bounds. The ball was not in the field between the antennas. And the point will go to the Tigers. Sidhu with 5 points to go to the set. Only up one, the Tigers. Sartar Sidhu. Peterson setting up Hilario. That's off Condon, all driven out of bounds for a point of the Reds. Tran checks back in for Sartar Sidhu, and Marshall will be checking in for Harris. Nathan Marshall, first year setter from Mount Pearl, Newfoundland. Gets it over. Donovan is there with the dig. Now Dowling. That one out of bounds on attack from Cross. And it's a tie game all of a sudden. 20 apiece. Fourth set. Dowling to Cross and Cross again. Cross with back-to-back errors on the attack, and Coach Oda calls timeout. 21-20 for the Reds in this fourth set. Marshall gets it right over. Donovan is there with the dig. Dowling sets up De Jong. This time De Jong will use Hilario to get that kill. DeYoung showing up when it matters. Gets it over on the serve. Now Marshall setting up Cormier down the middle. He makes the Tigers pay. Finding that gap in the middle. Punches it right through. Hilario. Dowling setting up Cross, and Cross bounces back, getting a kill. The much needed kill. Just for the mental capacity is important to get that one going. And now Coach McMorrin, calls a timeout. We'll be right back. Tigers on the serve from Cross. 22 apiece. Fourth set. Hilario. Marshall will set it up for Peterson, and Peterson finds the gap in the middle. 23-22 is the crunch points. Peterson. Excuse me, that's Cormier. And the service ace. The Tigers. Mental lapse by the whole squad. A lot of miscommunication on that one. And you can see the confusion on the team. And Cormier now with an opportunity to take the set. Donovan with the blockers again. Donovan off the net. Cross. Donovan tips it over. Hilario. Marshall to Peterson. And off the blockers, the Reds force the set number 5. Taking this one in the fashion of the second one, 25-22. We'll be right back after a short break, so don't go too far.
Hi, my name's Hannah, and I'm on the women's soccer team, and I am in my 3rd year studying psychology. I don't think you can go wrong with Tim Hortons at the sub. If I could get a blueberry muffin every day, I would. When I scored my first AUS goal here at Wickwire at our last game of the season against CBU. Probably to teleport. That way I'd never be late for practices and I could go visit home whenever I want and I could just go everywhere like that. Probably learning how to budget properly and sometimes deciding whether something is worth buying or not worth buying. I.e., should I get the new top at the mall that I've been wanting all week or groceries for this week?
And we're back to Dalplex here in Halifax, Nova Scotia for the 5th set of this RSEQ's men's volleyball matchup between the UNB Reds and your Dalhousie Tigers. Amelia Kurbanov have been bringing you the play-by-play and the color commentary here live on YouTube. And it's been a roller coaster, to say the least, between these squads as they've been exchanging sets. Tigers took the first one, Reds took the second one, and in the same fashion, they've exchanged the third and the fourth. So here are the Reds. They will start with the serve, and Hayburn. Donovan is there, Dowling now to cross. Perfect setup, quick setup, and speedy with aggression. Number 1 on the board for the Tigers in this 5th one as De Jong is lining up at the line. Gets it over. That's dug out by Hilario. Marshall now setting up Hilario, going through the blockers. Donovan in the back. And a 2-touch call again against Dowling. We've seen a few of those today on both sides of the floor from both teams. And now Premium will be at the line for the Reds. Donovan is there. Dowling setting up Condon Oljev for a kill down the middle. Cross. Every point counts in this one. It is 1st to 15. Hilario. Marshall back to Hilario, and this one with the power and the strength going out. But the swing of that, God forbid someone gets hit on anybody's part, to be honest with you. Hilario with the dig. Marshall now forcing it over there. Cormier. Dowling setting up Condon Oljev again, and Donovan was trying to save it, but the ball remained low to the ground, and Marshall will be serving now for the Reds. He gets it over. Tran is there with the dig. Dowling down the middle for Condon Oljev, and he makes no mistake. Tran will check out as Sartash Sidhu is in. Condon Oljev at the line. Gets it over. Hilario to receive it. Marshall back to Hilario. De Jong is there with the dig. Now Donovan using the blockers. Marshall setting up Peterson. Donovan off the blocker and the kill. 5-2. The Tigers will need to keep this momentum on their side. Cannot afford any mistakes. This resilient UNB squad will make you pay if you let them. Marshall down the middle for Cormier. Cormier is still with it. De Jong to Donovan, and Donovan is slightly too hard, and you see the frustration on Coach Oda. How Donovan had the angle, just not the right accuracy. Hilario. Now Donovan this time is working the blocker and gets it through it for a kill. Peterson was there, but and trainer had to talk to Peterson. Peterson got the ball to the head on that one. And certainly a ball from Donovan could be just as painful as a ball from anyone on a volleyball court. But man, Marshall setting up Cormier down the middle. And Seamus Cormier has been certainly the most efficient hitter for the Reds. Only 1 error on 7 attacks. And now Habron will get the kill as Cross couldn't get the right angle for the dig. The ball went flying out of bounds, and Cormier with 6 kills in the game and 5 blocks. Talk about a contribution. Now Donovan using the blocker and getting that kill off the tip of the hands of Cormier, it seemed like. And Donovan with an opportunity to extend this to 8. Gets it over. Hilario is there with the dig. Now Peterson, but Marshall is called for a 2-touch. Another 2-touch call, and squads exchanging sides as the set meets the middle mark of 8 points, and Tigers lead 8-5 with an opportunity to take this one in 5, but certainly a win for both teams would do a lot, especially for the Reds, who have been looking to get one to finally be on the winning side of the season. Are winless through 12 games so far, as the RSEQ volleyball's men's volleyball season is shortly, the regular season shortly and slowly coming to an end. Donovan back at the line to serve for the Tigers. And timeout is called by McMorrin, and we'll be right back here just in about a minute. And we're back. 8-5 for the Tigers in the fifth as they look to continue and try to find a way to seal the deal here. Donovan dug out by Haber. Now Marshall will set up Peterson on the other side. Donovan will dig that one out. Cross off the blockers into the antenna to get that point. Well done by Cross, beautifully read. Did not put too much power on the attack, just got it slightly at the block and was enough to just get there. But now the officials will talk a couple of things over and see if there's the need for the adjustment or on anything. But as they continue talking things through, if you want to bring your team or a group to a Tigers game, go to our website and fill out the name your game form, and you can come to a Tigers game for free. And after a discussion, looks like the point will go to the Reds. And Dowling is now talking with the official to see what's going on, and Coach Oda is frustrated with how things are progressing here at the moment. As we mentioned in this fifth set, every single point matters, and Peterson now will be at the line for the Reds to serve. Gets it over, crosses there. Dowling with the dig, and De Jong off the blocker for that kill. Now Sartar Sidhu with the ball in his hands, gets it over. Hilario with the dig. Now off the blockers goes Harris and gets the kill. Still a close one here in the fifth. Sidhu checks out for Tran, and Hayburn to the line for the Reds. Gets it over. Tran is there. Cross. De Jong is forcing it over on the third man. And blocked there by Kondonoljev. Hilario. The Tigers will get the point. And again, the coaches and the players talking to the officials yet again. And now talking to the captains of both teams. And it looks like the competitive edge is getting the best of the both teams, as neither of the two would want to give up. Neither of the two would want to give up in this situation. A game on the line, 10-7, fifth set. Reds are down 3, want to force this and claw their way back into this one, as the Tigers want to close this one out. 5 away. Can they do it? De Jong with the service error as we speak. Pruitt will be headed to the line now for the Reds. Tran, Dowling now to cross. Way off on that tip. And just unfortunate circumstance. Now, again, De Jong is forcing it over on the third. Hilario off 2 blockers. Peterson again, and blocked by Condon Oldriff. No bigger block in the game that the Tigers needed. Condon Oldriff with 7 blocks, and that might be the most important one yet. Cross. That's received by Hayburn. Now Hilario. And this time Hilario makes no mistake. And Dowling talking to the official again. (11-10) so far. And Marshall is ready to serve, but the conversations continue. Donovan not happy about perhaps with Hilario being a little too close to the net, perhaps. But the crowd is waking up. It might be 10:30, but it's never too late. Donovan, Dowling, back to Donovan, and Donovan off the blocker. Peterson was there, but not quite. Condon Oldriff to go to the line, and Tran checking out for Sidhu as McMorrin calls the timeout in the crunch moment of this 5th set. Tigers 12-10. Condon Oldriff at the line. Crucial few rallies. Seamus Cormier again coming in clutch for the Reds. 7 kills for Cormier. Only 1 mistake. Hilario crosses there to receive it. Donovan. That's dug out by Hayburn, and my goodness, this ball I thought was flying towards me, but I'm safe. I'm safe. And but what an effort there by Hilario trying to keep it alive as the ball went flying. Now, Hilario off Dowling. De Jong keeps it alive. Beautiful play. Marshall back to Cormier. And Cormier again, but what a hustle play by De Jong. And Hayburn will be coming out for Boudreau, and Cormier at the line. 13-12. And into the net. And Cormier certainly would want to take this one back, but despite even that mistake on the serve, he's had an amazing game. Donovan, dug out by Hilario. Now Peterson off the blockers. That's dug out by Tran. And Donovan seals the deal, finds the way to clutch it up. 15-12, and Tigers finally close this one out, and with a score 3-2. Both teams will be back here in Dowplex for another doubleheader, as the women's squad will be taking on the Axe women at 2 p.m. Excuse me. It will be a seniors presentation for that squad. The men's game is at 4 p.m. Halifax Atlantic Standard Time, and that will be another Seniors Day presentation. So don't forget to tune in. Final score: Dalhousie 3, UNB 2. You've been watching RSEQ Volleyball. Be sure to join again tomorrow. I've been Ilya Kurbanov saying good night, and we'll see you all tomorrow.